Hello. October is the month for the final harvests, winding up and cleaning the beds, but it's also the month for putting in some of next year's crops, such as garlic and broad beans. It looks like the tomatoes have got late season blight now with all the rain we've had. They're dropping all the tomatoes, but it is the 2nd of October, so they've done well for outdoor tomatoes, but I think I'll have to pick what I can, as much as I can. And yeah, it's starting to go blighty, and I don't know if it's showing well on the camera. I'm not going to touch it, but some of the branches look a bit black and blotchy, so it's going to be the last of the harvest of the tomatoes today. Get as much of it as I can, and I think these have had it. I might leave a few small green ones on just to see what happens. The broad beans have just about had it as well, but we've still got a few beans on them, so I'll get another meal out of the broad beans as well, and that'll be that lot. Might get a few more French beans as well. Some of the strawberries that are in pots have got a bit weedy, but once I've cleared them out they look alright. This one's even got runner coming off it, so it's so small I think I might just take the runner off it and just let it overwinter. Another pair of gloves bites the dust. This one has got a great big hole at the tip, so I've had to go and buy another pair. It always seems to be at the tip of fingers that the gloves wear out, and it's starting to go on that finger as well. You can see the hole. Now that the cage is sort of built and ready to go for next year, what I'm going to do is put some plastic down that was used for cloches. It's got a couple of holes in it, but it'll do. Just put the plastic down and put some wood chips on it for the winter, just keep the weeds off it, and next year just take off the wood chips, and then it'll be ready to go. The beans are coming to the end of their life. I mean, they're still producing a little bit, but I want to clear this bed out and get it ready for next year, so I'll cut the last few beans. I'll pick them up later. I can't do this one-handed, so I'll have to stop and I'll come back. Of course, when we take out beans, we want to leave the roots in so that they continue to provide nitrogen to the soil. So we just cut them at the base, and that'll be the end of it. And the roots will just rot down and provide nitrogen. Oops, that one's fallen out. Take the stakes out. These nettles are long overdue for a trim, so cutting this lot I should just about fill the nettle barrel. I'm leaving the nettle that's right by the fence. Oh, it smells a bit, but well, you don't want to be downwind of this when it gets going. Right. Well, yeah, the camera's sitting on the lid for this, so I'll have to put the lid on. Turn the camera off and put the lid on. But whew, it's strong. Unfortunately, the tomatoes have succumbed to late season blight, so they've got to go. And I'm not putting those in the compost because obviously I don't want that fungus staying around. There are snails on the tomatoes, which shows they're pretty sickly and need to be taken out. Right, so that's the tomatoes gone, and of course composting everything, the roots, everything is going in the bin, even the tomatoes. I tried saving some of these and putting them in a plastic bag, and went back 2 days later and all the tomatoes had fungus on them, so obviously they're gone beyond the stage of being rescued. I have had successes before where I put the green tomatoes in and they've ripened, but this lot, they've got a bad case of blight, and there's no point trying to get anything off these because they just go mouldy as soon as I put them into a bag. So fortunately there's a skip coming next week, so all I've got to do is chuck them in there. Otherwise it would have been a bonfire job, but right, I think that's the lot. Some weeds in there, but we'll deal with those later. This honeysuckle and clematis mess needs some attention as it's gone wild. The bees love it, but I have to cut it back to clear out the dead wood. Well, now that it's been cut down or cut back, I can see there's quite a bit of stuff that still needs sorting, but it needs doing from the other side. And that post that was leaning, it was leaning on the brambles, was actually fallen out. So it wasn't actually supporting anything, it was just being supported by the brambles. And once I took those out, it just fell down. And there's still like thick brambles in there, but that's all rooted in Karen's side. Roots are all on the other side of the fence, so nothing I can do about that at the moment. And this bit is now we've got rid of all the weeds that are here. I'm just taking out the roots, and this will be the garlic bed. But it was the first thing I used to see every time I came in, was this mass of weeds that was here. I mean, there's a lot of raspberries in that lot, so there's a few weeds in there, but if you look, there's raspberries and the thistles. Although I have gone through and removed all the thistles once, and all the brambles once, stuff's come back, so it needs another go. But all of this area is all raspberries, and they haven't produced much this year, so they're going to be moved to the side. Once I've cut those hedges down, it's going to be moved along the hedge and into the fruit cage at the bottom. There are some that are sort of along this fence, so I'll leave those as they are for now. I tried to get a post in to tie those raspberries back so I could actually clear this area under them, and it's like rock down there. It's just impossible to get a post into the ground. I know there are a few rocks and things down there, but it's like solid. Try here, try there, everywhere. I tried poking holes everywhere, and it's only gone in about 5 centimeters, and that's as far as I can get it. So hopefully it'll just hold them back till I've cleared this other rubbish out, and then they'll fall over into the garlic bed, but it won't matter at the moment, and probably be cutting those back or moving them before the garlic come into season, so that shouldn't be a problem. These raspberries were obviously trying to flower and fruit, but they were just swamped by this clematis and the weeds, so they never really got as far as setting fruit and things. I mean, this one is still got some bindweed wrapped around it, and but this area was all covered by this clematis. So obviously, when you don't get any sun and you're swamped, then you don't produce well. Well, that's the last of my cucamelon harvest, I think, for this year. There's not much left, and the plant itself is, focus, come on, it's having trouble focusing, but it's yellow, or going yellow, and I think that's the end of it. I was digging around in there and I saw this coming out, and it looks like privet that's actually rooted in there, and this green was poking out. I wonder what it was, because this was all composted stuff, or supposedly composted stuff, so I was given a piece of the sunflower and I'm saving the seeds for planting next year. Well, I've put the strawberry runners in the pots, and a few I've actually put back into the soil, so this bed will be densely planted with strawberries. This artichoke is doing fine. It was attacked by black fly during the summer, but it seems to be doing fine now. And this little one, here, he kept getting eaten by something, and I thought he was gone, and then I noticed that he's still got a little bit of life left in it, so hopefully it will spring back to life over winter, and we'll see. Hopefully it'll come back next year. And this one that's in the perennial bed with the lemon balm and the rose seems to be doing okay. It's not as big as the other one, but he went in a couple of weeks later. In fact, I think it was about a month later it went in, because it took me a while to get around to cleaning this bed, but it seems to be okay, so hopefully it'll come back over winter, in next year. Right, the job for today is to get this bed planted with garlic and broad beans at this end, and something else in the middle. I wouldn't normally put alliums and beans together, but because I can't do any more, clear any more beds along here till I've sorted the raspberries, and I can't do that till they've gone dormant. So I'm stuck with the situation that they will be in the same bed, but I'll plant something else in between them, spinach or something, so there's a buffer between them, and the beans should be okay. I mean, the garlic will be okay, that it won't do the garlic any harm, but beans don't like being next to alliums. But it's the only clear bed I've got, so it is what it is. I'll have to deal with it. Right, I've dug that bed over deep down as the depth of a fork, so that should help with the drainage a little bit over winter, and I'll give that another going over quickly, just to break up any big lumps. And I've managed to unearth a load more roots from deep down, so this should be fairly weed free, famous last words, but I've got as much of the weed roots as possible as I could get, so hopefully it should be relatively easy to keep this weed free next year. I bought a couple of garlic bulbs from the allotment shop, and Ken from a neighbouring allotment gave me a load of elephant garlic cloves, so these are going in. Well, this bed is now planted, so going from this end we've got one row of elephant garlic, one row of normal garlic, some extra elephant garlic, so there's a couple more on that row, but the rest is normal garlic. Then there's some celeriac. Now I'm not growing it for the bulbs, I'm just trying to see, as an experiment, if I can sort of harvest the odd leaf or the odd stalk and use it as almost like celery because it tastes the same, just for the odd occasional bit where I need fresh celery. And then there's the broad beans, and I've got aqua dulce up to where that brick is, and then the other half of the bed is the Sutton. So I'll see which ones perform better this year, and then decide on which ones to continue to use. So that should give me the first broad beans of the year, and then I'll sow some more in another bed in spring. Right, so that's one more bed done, and now that that buddleia is gone, it makes a hell of a difference over there. Oof. Wish I could go through and sort these raspberries out, but I've got to wait till they go dormant. It looks a right mess. Not that I haven't got enough things to deal with, so it can wait. Well, that's some jobs out of the way, and I've planted some of next year's crops, so I'm happy. In the next video we'll look at some of the other jobs in late October. So goodbye for now, and come back soon.